So I have just done some work with on the strategic workforce planning side with Henley Business College, and they sponsored an event looking at how AI can impact strategic workforce planning. And they're going to publish a paper on it on their website soon. And they looked at the case studies of the 30 or 40 different organizations that joined the workshop, joined the day. And a lot of them, one big use case for AI within strategic workforce planning or within talent and in general was around how you can use it to identify skills. So what are the skills in your job description? Are they being reflected in your job posting? Are you then identifying those skills in the resumes, the CVs of the candidates? Are you identifying those skills within your internal workforce? Back to that point, look internally. That's the best talent you've got because you've already got it. So how are you looking at the skills of your existing workforce to understand how you can apply those skills to the work that needs to be done? And use that many were using AI to do that analysis that allowed them to understand what skills they needed and how they could then change the shape of the work to meet so that they could see that, well, the workforce we have can do this. We might partner with someone else for that. We might outsource that. We might get a bot to do that. And some of this work, we might just get rid of it completely. So I think the skills can be the basis of that, and use the enterprise can use the AI to a lot of enterprises showing the use of AI in uncovering those skills, identifying those skills, and matching the skills that they have in their existing workforce with the skills that are needed for getting the work done tomorrow.
Martin, thanks for sharing that advice. I think that's really helpful for our listeners that are considering and are probably going to be wrestling or are wrestling with some of the challenges. So, Martin, one of the things we've spoken about on the show over the last number of years is around artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence or generative intelligence, and its potential or actual impact on jobs and specifically on jobs displacement. And I suppose I've been pretty focal in that I'm quite concerned about the impact of AI, AGI, and hybrid AI on jobs. I don't see much upside actually for the jobs market, and some of the data is quite mixed in this, at least the prediction data from World Economic Forum and other sources. I suppose my question really is, what's your take on it? Do you think it's going to be helpful for the labour market and for jobs in particular?
Overall, it's going to have a big impact in that it is going to change jobs. If organizations can think about how they get the work done, they can then change the jobs to take advantage of the AI, but they will still need to have the person. So I'm not scared about it. I think AI will look back at it and think of it as a tool in the same way as we think of the internet as a tool. I know horror stories about what that was going to do to us all years ago. And you can think back about through all of the industrial revolutions that we've had, the power revolution, electricity revolution, agricultural revolution, they've all made change. And the result of all of them has been greater employment. Just harnessing the technology to change that employment.
Thank you, Martin. And Martin, I know you've worked for some large enterprises over the last number of years. I want to look at the HR technology sector. There's lots of different point solutions, if you like, in HR tech. There's probably so many that you could just run out of space to name them all. But have you seen anything on and do they all integrate and do they all talk to each other and all that? Probably not. But I suppose, Martin, I'd love to get your read on HR tech and total workforce or total talent. Have you seen any technology that's sought to bring that all together into what I've been talking about for a few years? I call this a single view, right, Martin, that gives organizations an insight into the skills, an insight into the internal talent that exists in the organization, and insight, whether that's contingent or perm, and also external talent that comes in and out of their organization. Have you seen anything that can bring all that together?
No. Simple answer.
Okay.
I think it's because the the evolution of the different tools, the HRIS tools or the VMS tools, or the freelancer tools, they all come from slightly different places. And they're all very good at what they do, but they do different things. You don't use a Ferrari to move house. Doesn't mean a van is worse than a Ferrari. It just does a different job. When I've built, you talked about Martin Hansen earlier on, and he's done one of these podcasts before. He and I used to work together a few years back. He's gone on to develop really clever workforce insights, where he can take the data out of those different tools, those different sources, and then display it back. And that's what we did with business intelligence tools. We took the data out of the source systems, so your HRIS, your VMS, your manual reports, your procurement systems, your finance systems. You need to do some mapping, because some of them measure things that way and others measure them that way. You need to do the mapping so you're comparing like for like. Key lesson that I've learned is don't try and do that in any one of those systems. They're great at being a Ferrari or being a van, but they're not good at painting pictures. Put it in a business intelligence tool to display it, to show it, to bring all of those data sources. That's where you get the wow moment. You think about it, if you're in an enterprise, you have a manager who's got an HR system, they can see their employees, they all report to him, there's a leader, a manager, a leader. You can follow the chain.
Yeah.
Your contingent workers are in a different system. Maybe it's a finance system, maybe you've got a VMS, maybe it's in a spreadsheet, whatever, and they're all being billed to a certain finance cost center. And different managers will own multiple different cost centers. So you get a vertical or a horizontal view. They're both correct. If you can take the data, map it, and put it together, you can actually show a leader their workforce in one page. And that's when you get the wow. That's when they realize, I've got that many contingent workers.
Yeah.
My workforce costs me that much.
Yes.